Hey guys, I hope you're having an amazing day. I was inspired this morning after listening to an episode of content on Mark Shapiro's podcast, Explore the Space, where he was interviewing Eric Topol. And just a small plug to Mark's podcast. It's called Explore the Space. I really love what he does there. And if you guys haven't listened to his podcast, please check it out. I think he just does a really great job interviewing as another physician podcaster. And I can tell he's having a lot of fun. So it's just great to listen to him. So what I was inspired to talk about in this episode is this concept of variable learning or variable self-education, I would call it. And it's something that's just really important. So where did this come from as I'm talking about this? So when I was listening to the episode with Mark and Eric Topol, they were talking about deep medicine. They were talking about these concepts around artificial intelligence, about the latest voice technology coming out, all these different laboratory tests which are coming out through the grapevine and are starting to become more prominent. And as I'm listening to this, I'm really enjoying the content first off, right? And then something goes off in my head and I just think, what an amazing time it is to be alive, where there are these opportunities for great interviewers to be able to interview people who are really taking deep dives into understanding what's happening on this planet, understanding the technology, for example, on this planet, and thinking through the ramifications of what could be. For Dr. Shapiro to interview Dr. Eric Topol, and for him to just have a podcast and put it out to the world, and then I get to sit there and listen to this conversation and kind of almost download that information on my commute is just amazing. And so this episode is inspired through that moment where I just want to talk about this a variable self-education opportunity that we have. We live in a day and age where right now you can plug in your headphones and download information from so many resources, from so many platforms, and it would not be fair to us to not take advantage of self-education, especially through audio. This is why I love audio. This is why I love podcasting. It is just amazing to be able to passively consume expert knowledge or knowledge at the forefront of a field for free during your free time. It's just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. So what I want to talk about a little bit is this idea of variable self-education and kind of merge that with our concepts of creativity. So again, one of the big things we talk about in this podcast is the importance of creativity. It's the importance of creating your own freedom. It's the importance of being excited about life, about recapturing and reinvigorating yourself to be excited about the things you're doing in life. And part of that is by creation. So there's the creation side of things where you have to output work or do something that you enjoy. But on the other side of that is the inputs. It's the consumption side. So it's very important, I believe, that we're consuming good content, that we're consuming high quality information that allows us then to output that in a way that's also creative. So what I would like to really say in this podcast is it's just so important to, number one, monitor your consumption of the information you're taking in. And then number two, it's to take advantage of the many beautiful platforms out there, beautiful podcasts, amazing plethora of information that's out there that's just yours for the taking. So what I would say is with variable self-education, you can get insights from different fields, from marketing, from business, from entrepreneurship, from medicine, from writing, from reading, from music. There's just such an abundance of information. I mean, there's never going to be At this point, there's too much information. You're never not going to have enough, right? But if we can figure out what resources really are great, or even start to be open to learning from new resources, listening to it yourself, checking out if it makes sense to you, understanding if it's if a high quality resource, taking the time to just listen to someone and experiencing that information. And then later down the line, also having an opportunity to create. I'm not going to actually go down that line of thought right now, but just to deep dive into the information and to really pay attention to it and to listen to it is just an amazing time for education. It's an amazing time for self-education. And when you listen to these resources and you really pay attention, you learn about it, and you start to bounce those ideas off in your mind, you become more self-educated. And there's this idea of something called intrinsic value. Intrinsic value is the value that you bring to the table as a human being. It's the value that you bring in terms of being a conversationalist. It's the value that you bring to, for example, sitting at a board meeting and listening to different ideas and being able to contribute to a group. This idea of intrinsic value. How does one increase their intrinsic value? How does one increase their ability to contribute to groups, to contribute to conversation? It comes from self-education. It comes from learning about different fields. It comes from learning from a plethora of resources and being able to evaluate that information and being able to use that information to educate other people. By learning and then creating and educating and using that information, we become better people. So using variable self-education, using these different tools at our disposal, these free tools, learning from different podcasts, learning from different online resources. And I hope also that you learn from really great resources, people that inspire you, people that make you think, that you may also be able to increase your intrinsic value and to be able to give back more to this world, to be able to give in a way that people appreciate you more. This is a way that all of a sudden you become a valuable resource, that you become someone who can sit at a table and contribute, who can stand in a conversation and be interesting, that can have a conversation and pull examples from many areas of your life, many different areas that you're finding inspiration from, and that you ultimately become a stronger human with more knowledge and more to bring to the table. So that's what I'd like to impart in this conversation today. I hope that you got something out of that. And I encourage you to constantly look for resources and consume resources and find people that are bringing great knowledge to the table and to push the boundaries of what we're capable of. I think that in life, our real goal is to find that edge and to constantly be pushing ourselves to be the greatest self that we can, whether that's physically, mentally, financially. And so I hope you guys got something out of that episode today. Thank you for listening. Our podcast is The Happy Doc. You can find us on all the podcasting channels. You can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Overcast. There's so many tools out there. Please leave a review if you're enjoying the content. You can give us a 5-star review on iTunes. We'd super appreciate it. Please check out our website, thehappydoc.com. You can also check out our newest product, MedFlash Go. That's medflashgo.com, where we released a tool to help medical students study for their boards examinations using just their voice. Another thing I want to reiterate, just to address a small issue with MedFlash Go, we had someone from Puerto Rico, thank you for checking us out, from Puerto Rico that wanted to use MedFlash Go. Unfortunately, the tool is not available outside of the United States currently. I'm sure it will be in the future, but right now, in-skill purchasing is only available for the United States. Thanks for listening, guys, and take care.